Hey, what's going on, everybody? Back at you guys with round two. We got a special guest in the house. We got my man RC. He's down here in the Sunshine State with me, but
That's
he is
right.
a Navy vet, man. We can't hold that against him at this time, though. We've only had the Army come on so far, man. They holding it down, but now we got the Navy vets starting to trickle in. But we all for one, one for all here, man. So RC, without
Uh,
further ado, man, appreciate you stopping by today.
I appreciate the invite.
Hey, no problem. So what maybe give us a little backstory on where you're from or what made you sort of join the military, what branch were you in, and what sparked your interest.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I joined in 1990.
Okay.
Actually, I'm enlisted on the north side of New York, up in Albany,
Okay.
and I wanted to work on airplanes. I was currently scheduled to go to an engineering school, and the recruiter just kept on calling the house over and over again. And I was like, look, there's no way I could join the military right now. My mom was big on school. She was
Right.
the assistant dean at engineering school. So I was scheduled to go to that college. And this recruiter was persistent. He was like, what are you going to do in college? Like, I want to be an engineer. I want to work on airplanes. And he said his catchphrase was, it'll take you 4 to 5 years to work on planes in that route. I had you working on planes in 4 weeks, or he said 8 weeks. And I was like,
Yeah, he had
okay.
he had you hooked in then.
Yeah, he did.
So so did the time in the military go by fast for you? Like what how many years did you do in total?
So in total, I did 30 years. So I came in 1990,
Okay.
and I had an honorable discharge in 93.
Okay.
And then I went back to college, just to do what my mom wanted me to do. So I did that for a few years. Felt like something was missing. I re-enlisted back in 96. So it's called a NAVED. It's broken service.
Okay.
And then I took it. I just retired here recently in April 1st, 2023, and
Oh
that
man.
kind of gives me that whole 30 years right there.
Did it go by fast for you?
I think it did. I mean, now looking back at it, it did go by fast. But when you're in the military, it seems like you're gonna be there forever. And I think, I remember trying to help my sailors out and saying, like, don't make this an illusion. Don't think that this is going to last forever. Like, set yourself up for when you get out the military. And luckily, I believed in that, because now that I've gotten out the Navy, it's very different. And I could see how people will struggle when they, you know, leave the service, because the service kind of, although we all join for structure, and we
Yeah,
all want that structure, sometimes we rely on it too much.
most definitely.
And then right, so the military gives you your structure and you're happy for it, and you kind of take it for granted because you're forced to comply. And then when you get out, you don't have that, hey, structure. So now you have to apply that structure to yourself. And if you recall, that was the reason why we joined in the first place. So now we're like going back to why we joined the military, is for that structure. Now you're out the military, and now what's going to help you keep that structure?
So like so we did pretty much like a time warp 30 years. So when did you know that you were even ready to get out? Like when was your telltale sign? Did you know like at year 29, or were you sort of when were you prepping? When were you prepping to get
Right.
out?
So I would say like maybe 5 years ago, 6 years
Okay.
ago, when I saw it coming, and I had debt. I owed a lot of money to different things, and I was like,
Yeah.
"There's no way I could get out the military, have this debt,
Yeah.
and think that things are gonna be okay."
Right.
So I started strategizing and trying to figure out my life real quick, and luckily I did. I'm telling you, now that I'm officially out the military. I mean, your paycheck is it's cut, and
Yeah.
although I make 75%, I mean,
Right.
it's still
No BAH though. You're not getting that. You're not getting your BAS. You're not getting all that other stuff. So you are,
Hazard
yeah, it's still a cut.
pay. You're not getting that, marriage pay. All that pay we were getting. It created this illusion that we're gonna be okay.
Right.
And then and then when you get out the military, what people don't know, I mean, maybe they do know, is I mean, I just recently received my last check from the military, and here we are. What it's May 28th,
Yeah.
and I retired April 1st.
That's
So
funny that not really like a funny haha, but literally Orlando, retired command sergeant major out of the army, talked to him the other day, 32 years in the service, said the
right,
same thing. He didn't know until I'm pretty sure until it happened. Or like, and they audit your last check too. So you might not even get the full expectancy of what you're thinking you're going to get on it. So that's just like one of the things that's out there. As far as your disability, if you don't, I mean, did you have stuff that was in your medical records from all those years? I mean, I had 8 years in, and I had stuff. I broke bones. I did stuff like that. You know, you have if you go to war 3 times, maybe you've gone to the mental health clinic and got seen. So someone with all the time in service that you've done, you've seen it all there and back a million times and more, probably on ships and all stuff like that. So how did that look on your end? Did you sort of have the same stigma as a lot of people that I'm talking to, saying that it's a swallow your pride type of deal, and you just drive on with the mission and you don't go get seen? Or were you sort of like, hey,
yeah.
I'm getting ready to get out of the military in 5 years, I'm getting all my stuff in order? Or was it like a hybrid of both, like you already have been doing it the whole time? Or
Yeah, it's a tough question, and I think a lot of us who are driven uh, do face that because I've been to Iraq. We built Camp Patriot. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on in your head, and but we also want to get promoted, and we don't want to appear weak in front of our other fellow shipmates. And there is a stigma behind getting help. It's this natural thing, I guess, because who's going to do the job? So if you're at medical, then who's doing the job? And when you have guys down in the deck plates on the front lines doing the work, and you're not there with them, and then when you return and they're saying, where were you at? We feel the same way you feel, but who's going to get the job done? So that's going on in your head. So, and it's hard to remove yourself from helping your fellow shipmates out and going to get that help, and you got to find that balance. So it's a tough question. I think it's tough for all of us. um, I did go get the help I needed. Luckily I did. um, but it's one of those things that's hard to convince um, people in service to get the help they need when there's the peer pressure behind it you
Yeah,
know
most definitely. Like you summed it up well in a nutshell. Like just the stigma and like exactly getting passed up or any of that stuff like that. When did you know what you wanted to do when you were getting out of the service? When you were getting out of the Navy, did you already know what you're gonna do when you got out? Like as or did you sort of figure it out as you got out?
So what I didn't know, when I was younger sailor, I would see these retired master chiefs, you know, old guys still working down. Like they'll get these jobs and they're rigging these fire pumps and these big pumps out to space, and they're just working harder than we're working. And I remember thinking, like, I don't want to work my whole career to go back to working that hard again,
Yeah,
right? So I got my degree while I was in the military because I wanted to kind of get the degree stuff. Because a lot of sailors, you know, they'll tell you they joined the military for a college degree, but while they're in, they never do it. You
huh.
know,
Yeah,
or they'll say, "I'm gonna get out to get my degree," but yet are they're not even pursuing their degree while they're active duty. So I just tell people, just kind of see what you're doing, and I knew I didn't want to like turn wrenches when I left the military. So I
right.
got into business management, and I got my bachelor's degree,
Okay.
and that's helped me build my own business that I'm running right now. So I'm retired. I've gotten a lot of job offers,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of turning those down because I want to kind of see if I could do this. Because what I'm doing now, I was doing for the military. Now I was building plans, I was building courses, and I was teaching sailors. So I'm using that what I learned, and I'm just applying it to my own stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure we can. I'm sure you can do that. Um, there's plenty of it. I heard an amazing like a stat one time when I was at this veterans conference in Dallas. It was I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's called Entrepreneur Boot Camp for Veterans, like EBV, but it's out of Syracuse. Have you ever heard of them? Like
No, I
IVMMF,
haven't.
Institute for Veterans and Military Families. But yeah, for like someone like you, like you're an entrepreneur, like I can shoot you the info and they have like different cohorts and stuff like that. So you can like, it's almost like a mastermind class, some stuff. You probably like doing it. And then you like do
Yes.
some stuff online. Then we like met up and stuff. But it's like a master's like class on business. But there's just so many opportunities out there for like veterans, man, that like, that you sort of find in like a diamond in the rough type of deal. But was there anything that stuck? Did you get your bachelor's degree when you were in, or did you get it when you got out and you use your GI Bill or voc rehab or something like that?
I actually, when I was in Bahrain
Okay.
for a year, and all I was there during 2016, 2017, when the
Yeah.
whole, I don't know if you recall on the news, a lot of sailors got arrested during that time. It was a big, was drug ring. There was a lot of like girls coming in from China, and these sailors were living in these condos and having these girls live there for free. It was a big old ring. And a lot of people got arrested during that time. So, and I saw that stuff happening, and I just knew like that destructive behavior is just really cyclic. It's just always happening. And with, like I said, with the military, we get so comfortable with our structure that we get real complacent, and we don't have the intensity, to do better, because we are so sitting back in our chairs. We're like, oh, this is good. I got my paycheck every 2 weeks. I get fed. I have my job. Everything's just really good to go. And I just saw that was going to really be my demise if I didn't figure it out real quick. So I got my degree while I was in Bahrain. While everyone's out there drinking and partying, I kind of stayed and just got into the books.
Yeah.
And luckily I did. I think back at it, and all the peer pressure was there. All the carrots are right there, and I kind of saw myself today saying, like, don't miss this opportunity, because when it's too late, it's just too late. And I thank God every day that I figured it out.
Yeah, that's definitely a blessing right there. Because like if you go to school every year, when you're in the military and you do like 20, 30 years, I mean, you could have several degrees, right? With all the money that they give us, when you're in active duty, whether it's $4,000 a semester or whatever it may be now, it'd be like, yeah. But like you said, it's a lot of peer pressure. It's a lot of, we're going on deployments and coming back. Do you want to do school, or are you gonna go out and like party? And a lot of people don't choose the school route. So but you're right. You can get like if you already have a bachelor's degree and then you have all this benefits when you get out with your GI Bill or voc rehab, you can get a master's degree or even a doctor's degree. So it's definitely being done out here. Probably not too much talked about, but
And
um,
the thing is, though, with the promotions, like the promotions that we get, it gives you a false indication that everything is fine. Like in the
that's true.
Navy, we had this program where you go to be an officer. I'm sure the same thing in the Army. And so you have these, senior enlisted who go over to be, and they become officers,
Yeah,
and they're LDOs, limited officers, and they do their 20, 30 years, and they never get their degree. And then they transition out the military, and they think because of their success in the military that it's gonna, carry over automatically. And although you have a strong resume, if you don't have that foundation, it's a rude awakening. And when you go to TAPS class, I went to the executive level TAPS class with those captains in there and there was senior officers and master chiefs in there. And the first thing our instructor told us was, no one cares if you were a captain of a ship. They want to know, can you make us money? And when he said that, I was like, wow, that's so profound, because I'm in a room with a bunch of captains and,
Yeah.
and he's up there saying, like, no one cares if you were a captain of a ship.
That's
And
good that they're doing that because that's a reality check. Realistically, they're helping you because if before they didn't tell anyone that and they had people writing, "Hey, I'm a captain of a ship" on a resume. Yeah, that's why you're not getting a job. It's like military jargon, and they're looking for something totally different. So
yeah,
yeah, that's I'm glad you. Yeah, I didn't even know about the senior level TAPS class, but obviously you in Orlando, you guys E9 and above, so you guys had that at the disposal. So hopefully, I guess everyone had that's what's unique so unique about everyone in the service. Everyone's had their own uniqueness about getting out the military because when you're in the service, you don't really talk too much about getting out. People just come and go, they PCS, they ETS. You don't really hold anyone's hand when people are getting out and ask them how it was going or something like that. So I definitely had a rude awakening because I got out with zero disability and it took me about 5 years to get up to it. But thankfully, like you said, like I'm blessed to have what I have too. So that's why I'm trying to like do this and give back, even if we can just help one person. But it seems like there's going to be a lot more than one person that can gain value from all the information from all these people that are going to sacrifice their time and their story to help others. So, which has been pretty exciting so far. So, um, what was something that you struggled with the most when you got out? What was like if you had to pick one thing?
I think right now it's, well, the big thing is being home all the time. I think that there's a big family adjustment. My wife and kids, they've had their routine for so long, and I've been gone a lot, and me being here all the time now, and and the role I played in the military, I ran a whole department,
Yeah,
and I was very forthgoing. I was very frontline guy, and I wanted things to happen the way I wanted things to happen. So I imposed structure. So coming home and trying to say, hey, this worked for me. Let's try to bring that home. I have to be careful with that because, so that the biggest challenge for me is, easing who I am, what the military's made me, bringing that home because, you could definitely create more harm than good. When you're trying to do good, it comes across a little too rough sometimes when you're dealing with the family.
what's been like the something that's helped you out with like dealing with that the most? What would you say?
I think going to the VA, and talking to people, talking to other vets,
Yeah,
uh, you
most
know,
definitely.
and seeing how they did that transition. They talk about it all the time, and you think you got it, but then, when you come home for a couple of weeks, or you're home a little bit but you're gone most of the time, and then you're here all the time, you know us military guys, we are who we are, and some of us are more A type than others, but we're aggressive sometimes,
Right.
because we feel like we have to be around that environment, and when you don't have that outlet no more, uh, you know, it's a transition. And I just not only for a month, so I'm working on that right now. I mean, I'm doing it right now. So my son's home right now. We're gonna leave here after I get done with the podcast. We're gonna go to Golden Corral, kind of spend
Living
that
good. You living
yeah,
good.
biggest.
Yeah, enjoy your time, man. Well, I mean, dude, that's a long time, man. Sacrifice, like you said, go, 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 always gone, nonstop. You probably seen the world and back, but seen so many birthdays. Yeah, I left as a civilian, as a contractor, and I didn't have any kids when I was in, but I have my son when I got out. So I wasn't making it anywhere. Long story short, so I took flight and like went to Dubai and like overseas too a couple times and did my thing, but it's like I wasn't able to get a financial break here, and it's like sometimes it's a network, sometimes it's where you are because a lot of people are getting into IT. A lot of people are, it's about the field or about it's just, there's so much out here for veterans, if we truly look. So, uh,
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're able to enjoy some time, with your family and you got everything set up straight because you definitely put your time in for it, right? So, like you got a lot of friends that are still in that might not be on the same track as you that as far as like getting everything in order to just kind of like have it by the wayside like I'm going along with the flow.
Yes, that's what concerns me. So I've had friends call me recently about getting out the Navy, out the military, and I say, listen, just do not. You join for a reason. You
Yeah,
join for, either for school, financial security, whatever those goals were when you joined. Don't leave prematurely without getting some of that stuff completed because you're going to go back to square one again before the military. So
yeah,
I told this chief, I'm like, if you have bills, getting out because you had a bad day, or getting out because you don't like your boss, or getting out because whatever the case is, it's a knee-jerk decision, and you have to remind yourself why you're there, and get those bills paid off, or finish the school real quick, or do some research. Just don't get out because you want to get out because either you think it's cool, or you've told so many people you want to get the Navy, so you kind of you have to say, oh, I'm not. I'm going to do it because I've been telling people. So you get out prematurely,
yeah,
and because it really is scary, and this because when you don't have that active duty under your belt no more, you're on your own. You're
yeah.
on your own.
You got no money you got no more money coming in, man. And even even if you're used to getting your all that money, then you lose like 25-30% of it. You might have been living on every single dime. It's not like everyone in America, we know, it's not getting any easier out here for anyone. So it's like for people like that are our friends and other people that are out there that we don't even know. It doesn't matter. We're all the same. We're all veterans, right? So it's like people are like, oh no, I'm good. Like Johnny got blown up. He needs it. Like no, everyone can get it. It's not just about Johnny that got blown up. It's about everyone that's dealing with something that could fit the build for these things that we're entitled to, So it's I don't know, man. It's kind of a never ending cycle, but you never want to give up on our battle buddies and our friends because you know what's on the other side because you've gone through it and there's a lot of benefits to it, but they gotta do some of the legwork themselves, right?
Mm-hmm. And now, what's crazy is you hit like the younger sailors, the younger people who get in the military, do like 4 or 8 years, and
Yeah,
they and because I came in, I did 3 years, and then I got out the Navy. I went to school for a while, and I came back in. So I'm speaking from experience.
right.
Is they come in, and the first thing they say is, "I can't wait to get out." And like, this place sucks, and I don't want to be here no more. And it's like you only been here for a year or 2 years, like, and why did you join in the first place? Like I tell them, do you remember the first person you told when you made the decision to join the military? When you told your friend or your mom or your dad, hey, I'm gonna join the Navy. How happy you were of yourself, how
Yeah,
happy they were of you. You remember how that felt? I mean, don't forget that feeling because that's why you're here.
right.
And something happens, either it's in boot camp or their first command, when things don't go the way they think it should go, they're pulling chalks and they're giving up on themselves.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
yeah.
So if you had a message to tell besides the key points you hit on earlier, like pretty much just having a plan, like what would you tell someone that maybe just is not even is an E9 and above, that just a mid-career soldier? Because I'm sure you had plenty of them get out. What was the main thing that you saw these guys struggle with when it came time to get out? E5s, E6s, maybe just the junior enlisted, like, and who maybe struggled the most, or did you see it sort of from all angles? Because it seems like it's coming from even from the E9s and aboves. They're saying, hey, these guys are the worst. These guys aren't even going. They never do anything for themselves. So it's like, man, it's crazy to actually hear that from the horse's mouth, essentially. Because
Absolutely. The biggest advice I have is time is ticking. You have to have a real plan, like a for real plan. If you plan to get out and get a job, I mean, start researching that stuff for real now, because by doing that now, you'll really know if you're ready to get out. We think we got the military and those jobs are all lined up, and that's not the case. So by doing your work now, acting like you're getting out, get the resume done, reach out to these companies and ask them, would you hire me tomorrow if I were to get out in the military? And how much would you pay me? And what would I be doing? And who would I be working for? And what's my expectations? Because all that information will definitely let you know, is it, am I better where I'm at?
yeah,
Because the grass ain't always greener on the other side. The biggest thing that I love about the military is, here's what I love about the military, is that because when you go to a company in the civilian sector, if you don't like your supervisor or boss, you could be stuck with this person for 10, 15 years.
yeah,
In the military, if you don't like your supervisor, you know for a fact either you're going to roll in a couple of years or they're going to be rolling in a couple of years. So
yeah.
we gain so much experience interacting with different type of leaders that you can't get from a book. You can't get really in the civilian sector, because we are exposed to so much leadership in the military that when we get out of the military, we're like, oh man, I mean, I'm stuck in this cubicle all day for the next 15 years.
Seriously, that seems you're hitting home on that because it seems like this. It just like sum it up at like a sense of worth, like where you go from this high up tempo environment, and then like you said, I'm in here doing this, or working fast food, or I mean, it could be a slew of things, man. Like I mean, or security guard, or all that's nothing equates to being charged with some type of mission with people's lives on the line all at wartime. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, that it's all common denominators between everybody. So I'm not really, I guess it's not really surprising, right? But you know, and what?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. You got anything else you want to add today?
No, I think I'm good.
Shoot, man. Well, hey, RC, man, it's been a pleasure having you on, dude. If you ever want to come back on, come back on here. If you want to plug in your other stuff right now, you can, because I know you got your social media and you're doing your stuff too. So we all might as well try to help each other. So if you want to say anything else, but I appreciate your time today and hope you have a good rest of your weekend, brother.
Well, thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it. I want this coming in, maybe help somebody else out there in the military. So I want to kind of keep it to that today.
Too
But
easy.
thanks for the invite, and hopefully I help somebody today.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you.
All
Have a
right,
good
man.
one.
Hey, you too, man.
All right, later.
All right, bye.